Have you ever been with a woman who looked into your eyes a little too long, stayed close to you for no reason, laughed softly at things that were not even that funny, and yet you still walked away confused, still unsure, still wondering if she actually wanted you or if you were just imagining it? Because that confusion hurts. You replay the conversation later. You overthink every detail. You wonder if you missed your chance. And the worst part is not rejection. It is uncertainty. It is feeling like every other man somehow understands women naturally while you keep missing signals that were right in front of you. Maybe you have experienced this before. A woman touches your arm during conversation. She finds reasons to stay around you. Her energy changes when you walk into the room, but then you hesitate. You stay logical, you wait for certainty, and eventually another man steps in with confidence while you are still trying to decode what she felt. That feeling stays with you, and most men never realize the real problem. I'm here with Talia Love Inspiration, where we uncover the real psychology that creates desire. And today you are going to understand 3 clear signs a woman secretly wants intimacy with you, even when she never says it directly. And I will warn you now, the final one is incredibly powerful. It can change everything fast, and almost no one uses it correctly. Because women rarely communicate attraction in obvious words. They communicate emotionally, subconsciously, through behavior, through tension, your invitation. This was never your fault. Nobody taught you this. Most men were taught to focus on surface level attraction, looks, money, perfect lines, perfect timing. But female attraction is much deeper than that. It works through emotional safety, polarity, anticipation, dopamine, oxytocin, and subconscious pattern recognition. Women scan for emotional experiences, not perfect men. That changes everything. A woman can be attracted to you long before she openly admits it, sometimes even before she consciously understands it herself. Evolutionary psychology shows that attraction often develops through emotional tension, mystery, and grounded masculine energy before logic ever catches up. That is why some men create intense desire without saying much at all. Not because they manipulate women, because their behavior naturally activates emotional responses women are biologically wired to notice. And once you understand these hidden signals, you stop chasing, you stop forcing, you stop begging for clarity. Instead, you become the man women slowly move toward on their own. That is power, real power. And it starts with understanding the first sign. She creates excuses for physical closeness. Not aggressive closeness, not obvious. Subtle closeness. She sits beside you when other seats are available. She lightly brushes against you during conversation. She adjusts your shirt collar. She leans into your space instead of protecting hers. This matters more than most men realize because women protect physical space. Around men, they do not trust or desire. Their subconscious constantly scans for emotional comfort and physical safety. So when a woman repeatedly enters your space voluntarily, her nervous system is already relaxing around you. That is huge. But most men ruin this moment. They either panic and do nothing, or they become too aggressive too fast. Both kill attraction. This is where gradual physical touch matters. Light, respectful, intentional. You mirror her comfort level slowly, a gentle touch on her hand during laughter, guiding her lightly through a crowd, brief shoulder contact while speaking, nothing forced. The male brain often wants certainty before action. Female attraction usually needs emotional progression instead, different systems. You must learn calibration. Imagine this, you are sitting with her at dinner. She lightly taps your arm while laughing. Instead of freezing or acting overly excited, you stay grounded. Calm eye contact, relaxed smile. Later, while walking together, you lightly touch her lower back for 1 second as you guide her through a doorway. Simple, natural, confident. That moment communicates more masculine presence than 100 rehearsed pickup lines. Grounded energy changes everything. Women are deeply affected by emotional stability. A man who remains calm under emotional tension feels rare, safe, strong, desired, not loud strength, controlled strength. That is what creates polarity. And here is the truth most men miss. If she keeps reasons to physically reconnect with you after small moments of touch, attraction is already growing beneath the surface. Her body is saying yes before her words do. Pay attention. Now, the second sign is even more powerful. She emotionally invests in your attention. This one is subtle, but once you see it, you cannot unsee it. A woman who secretly wants intimacy with you begins craving emotional significance in your life. She wants your attention to feel different from everyone else's, selective, meaningful, earned. This is why she remembers tiny details about you. She brings up stories you forgot telling her. She reacts strongly when you give attention to other women. She notices changes in your mood instantly. That is not casual interest, that is emotional focus. And emotional focus creates attachment. This is where intentional listening becomes magnetic. Because most men listen only enough to respond. Rare men listen deeply enough to remember. Huge difference. When a woman feels emotionally seen, oxytocin increases, trust grows, emotional openness expands. Her subconscious begins associating your presence with emotional reward. You become psychologically important. Imagine her mentioning weeks ago that she loves a specific type of coffee or misses going to bookstores. Later, during conversation, you casually bring it up naturally, not to impress her, to show presence, to show attention. That moment hits hard emotionally because women are constantly testing whether a man truly sees them beyond appearance. Most do not. You do. That creates emotional intimacy fast. And here is another layer. Women become deeply attracted to men whose attention feels valuable and not desperate. Selective attention matters. A man with purpose, a full life, strong direction, he does not constantly chase validation. He is engaged in his mission, goals, friendships, fitness, growth. His attention feels intentional because it is not available to everyone all the time. Scarcity creates emotional weight. This does not mean playing games. It means having a real life. A woman feels it immediately when your world does not revolve around her approval. Ironically, that often makes her want your attention even more because value attracts pursuit. Picture this. You spend time with her fully present, focused, engaged, then you leave because you have responsibilities, passions, direction. You are warm without clinging, interested without obsession. That emotional balance creates tension, healthy tension, and tension fuels attraction. Now add emotional challenge. One of the most misunderstood triggers in attraction psychology. Women do not emotionally attach to men who feel emotionally flat, predictable, approval-seeking. They attach to men who create playful polarity, not cruelty, not manipulation, playful challenge. For example, she says, "You probably say that to every girl." Instead of instantly defending yourself nervously, you smile slightly and say, "Only the dangerous ones." Relaxed, playful, confident. That creates emotional movement. Dopamine spikes during uncertainty and playful unpredictability. Attraction often grows through emotional variation, not constant reassurance. This is why some conversations feel electric and others die instantly. If this is making sense so far, hit subscribe and join Talia Love Inspiration Community. It helps more men learn what they were never taught. Now let's move deeper because the third sign is where intimacy becomes almost undeniable. She starts exposing emotional vulnerability around you. This changes everything. A woman who secretly desires intimacy does not only want physical closeness, she wants emotional safety first. And when she begins lowering emotional defenses around you, attraction is usually already active beneath the surface. She tells you things she does not tell most people. She opens up about fears, insecurities, memories, family issues, past relationships, dreams. Her tone softens around you. Her guard drops. That is trust forming, and trust is the doorway to intimacy. But here is where most men fail badly. They either become emotionally unavailable or emotionally overwhelming. Both destroy polarity. This is why calibrated vulnerability matters. Women do not want a robot, but they also do not want a man emotionally collapsing in front of them, constantly seeking rescue. They want grounded honesty, strength with openness. You share real things without becoming emotionally dependent on her reaction. That balance feels masculine. For example, instead of pretending your life has always been perfect, you calmly share a challenge you overcame and what it taught you. No self-pity, no victim mindset, just honesty with emotional control. That creates deep trust because authenticity lowers her defenses too. And once emotional walls start dropping, intimacy accelerates naturally. Now here comes the part almost nobody understands correctly: controlled unpredictability. This is incredibly powerful when used with maturity. The human brain becomes emotionally addicted to rewarding uncertainty. Dopamine increases when emotional rewards feel earned instead of guaranteed. This is why women often become obsessed with emotionally engaging men they cannot fully predict. Not toxic men, emotionally dynamic men. There is a difference. A man who is emotionally stable but still surprising creates excitement without chaos. For example, maybe she expects a normal date and you suddenly take her somewhere meaningful and unexpected. Maybe your humor catches her off guard. Maybe your confidence stays calm in situations where most men become reactive. You keep emotional energy fresh, alive. Women remember emotional experiences more than logical details. Never forget that. Now, combine all of this together. Grounded masculine presence, playful emotional challenge, selective attention, intentional listening, calibrated vulnerability, gradual physical touch, controlled unpredictability. These are not tricks. They are emotional experiences. And when a woman secretly wants intimacy with you, these experiences amplify the signals she naturally gives off. She lingers longer than necessary. She looks at your lips while you speak. Her voice softens around you. She becomes hyper aware of your reactions. She starts finding excuses to communicate, even late at night, especially late at night because attraction changes behavior. A woman emotionally drawn toward you unconsciously starts prioritizing connection with you. And once you understand this, you stop obsessing over impossible certainty. You learn to read energy instead of waiting for scripted confessions. That changes your confidence completely. Now let me tell you something important. Do not confuse attraction with entitlement. Just because a woman feels drawn toward you does not mean you push boundaries or force escalation. Real masculine energy respects emotional pacing. It stays aware, intentional, calibrated. That is why women trust certain men deeply. They feel safe being desired by them. Massive difference. And safety does not kill attraction like insecure men believe. Emotional safety actually intensifies attraction when paired with polarity and grounded strength. That combination is rare. Most men lean too far one direction, too soft or too aggressive. But the men women obsess over usually combines calm emotional control with intentional desire. He is present, grounded, focused. He does not beg for validation. He creates emotional experiences. And women feel that immediately. Here is another truth. A woman rarely says, "I want intimacy with you," directly in the beginning. Her subconscious communicates first. Through proximity, through emotional openness, through attention, through energy. Your job is not forcing certainty. Your job is recognizing patterns. That is what emotionally intelligent men understand. And the more emotionally intelligent you become, the less rejection controls your life. Because you stop needing every interaction to become something. You simply learn to recognize when attraction already exists and respond confidently instead of fearfully. That is freedom. And confidence built from understanding feels different than fake confidence built from ego. It feels calm, quiet, unshakable. Women notice that instantly. Now imagine how differently your dating life changes once you stop second guessing every signal. Imagine recognizing attraction early without anxiety. Imagine understanding when a woman is emotionally inviting you closer instead of waiting endlessly for impossible certainty. That alone changes your energy. You stop over pursuing. You stop trying to impress. You stop performing. And ironically, that is when women start feeling most drawn toward you because desperation repels, presence attracts. Always remember this. Women are emotional beings before they are logical beings in attraction. Their nervous system responds to emotional experiences, tension, safety, mystery, dopamine, oxytocin, and polarity long before rational explanations appear. That is not manipulation. That is human psychology. And once you understand the psychology, dating stops feeling random. You begin seeing patterns everywhere. You notice how women test confidence subtly, how they seek emotional certainty through your reactions, how they become more feminine around grounded masculine energy, how attraction often builds slowly through emotional layering instead of instant perfection. You become patient, intentional, sharp, and that patience alone separates you from most men because desperate men rush. Confident men observe. That is why understanding these signs matters so much. Not to manipulate women, to finally stop misunderstanding them. To finally stop assuming attraction needs giant obvious signals. Most of the time it starts quietly, a little closer eye contact, longer conversations, softer energy, small touches, emotional openness, subtle invitations. And if you can recognize those moments while staying grounded, respectful, and emotionally intelligent, intimacy begins unfolding naturally instead of forcefully. That is the real secret. Not lines, not gimmicks, not pretending to be someone else. Real tools, used with intention, used with respect, used with awareness. And I want you to hear this clearly. You do not need perfection to become attractive. You need strategy. You need emotional awareness. You need self-control. You need purpose. And most importantly, you need to stop believing you are broken simply because nobody taught you how attraction actually works. This was always learnable. You were never behind. You were untaught. Big difference. The moment you understand female psychology deeply, your entire energy changes. Women feel it, conversations feel smoother. Tension feels exciting instead of terrifying. Attraction becomes something you can recognize instead of something you desperately chase. That is the shift. And once that shift happens, you stop trying to convince women to like you. You become the man they naturally lean toward emotionally, quietly, powerfully, without forcing anything. That is masculine presence. And it is built, not born. So start paying attention. Watch her body language. Watch emotional investment. Watch how she reacts to your attention. Watch whether she keeps moving emotionally and physically closer to you over time. Patterns reveal truth, always. And the best part is this. The more grounded and intentional you become, the more naturally these signs appear in your life. Because women respond differently to men who understand emotional dynamics instead of blindly chasing validation. That alone puts you ahead of most men already. So move differently now. Slower, sharper, calmer, listen deeper, lead intentionally, respect boundaries, create emotional experiences. And remember, attraction is not about becoming a fake alpha performance. It is about understanding human psychology while staying authentic to who you are. That is sustainable confidence. That is real masculine energy. And that is what women truly crave underneath all the noise. If you're ready to stop chasing and start becoming the man women genuinely desire, subscribe to Talia Love Inspiration now. Turn on notifications because the next one will shift your reality again.